The following podcast is brought to you by the Ebb Tide Treatment Center. Many people wrestle with addiction. You don't have to. Reach out to the Ebb Tide Treatment Center, where they wish to empower each individual encountered with the support, hope, and tools required for long-term sobriety, priding themselves on providing the best possible treatment experience for you and your loved ones based on unique needs. They're committed to breaking the stigma that plagues those suffering with addiction and their families by educating and bringing awareness to the community. The Ebb Tide Treatment Center provides individual and group therapy, multiple recovery pathways for support, evidence-based clinical support, integrated aftercare social reintegration, personalized treatment planning, program addressing whole life health, and Vivitrol program, all available. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, reach out to them at ebbtidetc.com or call 844-430-4357. Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. We are just going to keep rolling on the train that is JLIT weekend. And boy, do we have a show for you, contrary to what you just heard in the background. It will not... Oh, is that what that was? I thought it was you yawning.
What the hell did you think it was,
I thought he was yawning just
Steve,
then.
it was clearly a train.
Steve, it was a goddamn train.
All right.
I guess we'll do that again.
Oh, no, we're live, Pally. We're live.
We're doing it live.
All right, so anyway.
We're live.
Fuck it.
We're rolling into night 2, but before night 2 itself happened, we had
We're live,
Back to
pal.
the Future Cup. So this episode is dedicated to the entire day that then led into night 2. We'll get into that, but first, of course, shout out to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Smart Mark Video, who takes care of all of our video needs. They are there recording, and don't forget that JLIT's going to actually be coming out on Blu-ray. So when that hits, be excited for that. Check out all of our past DVDs on MP4 stream or buy the DVDs from smartmarkvideo.com. Also, thanks to Angelo's Pizza feeding us here today once again and feeding all of you with their award-winning pizza at the live events at Mount Carmel. If you would like to try Angelo's, visit them on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio.
And for Christ's sake, check them out on Monday nights. It's half-price pizza night. Dine in, but you eat 2 slices. You can take the rest to go, buddy.
There it is, a little little life hack.
How about that? And then, of course, as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who handles all of our graphic and design needs, and they also print on any sort of apparel. Literally anything that you can think of, whether you have a small business or you're somebody just trying to make a name for yourself and get people to buy merch, you can do all of that through Jack Prince. Visit them at jackprince.com.
That's jakprince.com.
That's right. That voice that you just heard is the Bone Collector, Dominic Guarini. Voices you heard previous to that, other than my own, was Alex Worldwide Keller. He is back again. My name, of course, is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. As always, we'll be joined by AIW owner John Thorne. And we are still packed full here in the studio apartment Heights, Ohio, with Brian Carson, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham.
Taping these like a TNA fucking taping schedule.
And Weird Body. Is it before or after Anthem?
The last session in the studio
Paying
apartment.
everybody on time?
Fuck that out.
There you go. So as alluded to, if you listened last week, we
Can't
did,
say that.
What's
I
that?
never want a job.
We can tell by your current financial state.
Well, we did JLIT Night 1 last week, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. We are rolling into day 2. We have the morning of. I'll leave that to you guys. Those of you who were at the hotel, before we even get into Back to the Future, there were plenty of things that happened before that. Am I right?
Don't give him the microphone. Hold on, I was making a drink. I'm trying to get it on the worldwide level, but
I don't know if that's possible.
You
for
got
him.
some time.
I mean, we kind of left off at the hotel after party, which I did not get to experience a lot of. I know that there was a lot of destruction of my hotel room, which I don't know. I guess there's some professional wrestling going on.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
These are all alleged, Mr. John Thorne.
So let's get into that a little more. Luckily, I found out against the reports and what I thought was I did have a smoking room, so it was okay that people were smoking all over my room. Worldwide is very upset because he was going out on the balcony the whole time.
Allergies.
But so the America's Best Value Inn was in pristine condition compared to years prior. I don't know what the fuck happens in that hotel, but it can't be good.
I think the best thing we can say about the America's Best Value Inn on JLIT weekend, the positive is that it wasn't seized by the government. That's
It was
only
open.
positive.
Don't
It
know
was
how.
open.
It fucking probably should be.
Yeah, judging by having driven by the Hojo versus driving by America's Best Value Inn, I have no clue how they both haven't been seized.
Oh, so
It's right next to the
I did get the story on why the Hojo was seized.
Oh,
yes.
supposedly by the government. It's not as sensational as people may think. You know, there was a lot of rumor and innuendo floating around about why the government would seize a hotel so close to the freeway. But it turns out a man fell through the third floor to the second floor.
Right through.
They said that is a dangerous building code violation.
I mean,
Hole in
because
the floor? No.
agree to disagree.
because you're not supposed to fall through the entire floor
Probably not any
because they
part
say
of it.
that that's not safe. But into the defense of the Howard Johnson, how are you going to shut down a whole hotel just because one guy fell through one
floor.
ceiling?
Clearly,
Slash
there were plenty
floor.
of other floors and ceilings that people didn't fall through.
Exactly. And we could have stayed there,
We only needed 20 of them.
and I'm sure that there wasn't any blood.
We would have gotten
On the
free
walls?
Bob Evans.
The free Bob Evans thing was really the fucking thing that set the deal, because I love getting some fucking good breakfast soup from Bob Evans every fucking JLIT morning.
Anything from the hotel there, gentlemen?
I did not stay at the hotel. I took Colby Red and Joshua Bishop back to my apartment to get a good night's sleep before Back to Future Cup the next day.
Great plan.
Okay, so now that you say a good night's sleep, that's where I come into effect. John Thorne, being very responsible, earlier in the week goes, Dom, you're probably the most responsible student. Can I entrust in you to be there Saturday morning? Powerbomb is going to be filming, and they're going to be using the ring and everything. And I said, sure, John, I'll be a responsible adult. What time do you need me there? He then goes, oh, they want to be there. What was it, 6?
Originally it was 7.
7.
7. So I just, at that moment, think, fuck my life. I have to wrestle. I have to wrangle everybody. I probably won't sleep because my room is literally right across from Thorne's. Because I'm not going home because I live an hour away. So I'm just like, you know what? Whatever. Team player, take them for the team, and I will be there to open the doors while they film Powerbomb, the movie. Starring not Worldwide Keller, not starring Weird Body Evan Adams. Good! Starring Alex Daniels, Gregory Iron, Britt Baker, Matt Cross, Dick Justice, and many others. Oh,
Dave the Potato.
I gotta forget- and of course Grandma Cross, which I will say, if we're going to talk about the Powerbomb taping, Steve, Grandma Cross, yet again, another MVP.
She was,
during
yeah.
the Powerbomb tapings.
Because I showed up later on along with referee Jake Clemens so that we can at least...
Yeah. Yes, as Jake Clemens, I will give Jake fourth quarter Clemens, famous Twitcher Jake Clemens, props. He was there.
Connected worldwide, dude.
He
Connected
was
everywhere.
there
Hashtag.
early to hang out with me as I was thinking, oh my God, I'm here. And they're filming this movie that I have no real affiliation with. But thank you,
Because
Jake, for being there.
there's no fucking way I was going to be at a 7 a.m. movie taping.
Yeah. Well, we did get ourselves a nice little brunch at XYZ.
We did.
I didn't.
I took John Thorne's place, and I ate the corned beef hash.
That's great. At
great
XYZ.
decision.
I wish they would host fucking the after parties and just do fucking late night brunches, dude.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I don't
That'd
even
be
think they
great.
serve food that late.
Fuck it. Go in there and talk to them.
All right. That's
Let's make some deals, Steve Guy.
That's your
Corned
job.
beef hash? Oh, coming out of one of the shows? That'd be incredible.
Tracy Williams thinks that there may have been human feces spread all over his room. They gave him a new room though once he brought them up and
Not a
showed
room
them.
for blood.
No, not
Well,
blood.
I guess the question is, was he in a non-smoking room?
I think it was non-smoking.
Well,
So they
that's-
said
that's what it was.
They said this is unacceptable conditions.
Unacceptable for a non-smoking room, but in a smoking room, that may have been okay.
So, some other morning musings from JLIT night 1. It got to be about noon. We got back from our brunch.
So this is my situation. I am coming back towards the hotel. Tim Donce is texting me. He wants to go to breakfast. I drive by the America's Best Value Inn, and there is ambulances actively outside about 10:30, 11 a.m. And I go, fuck. This is not good. Because I know that there's fucking a lot of partying going on. Stop talking over the fucking podcast. So I drive by and there's ambulances outside the America's Best Value Inn. So I like pull up and they're like wheeling somebody out and I'm trying to see like who it is. Cause I just have a feeling, you know what I mean? It's somebody. And I can't see and I don't want to like dude, you're like the worst. Like you.
He's wasted, brother.
That's fine, but don't be an asshole on the side, road wide.
You just gotta relax.
Chill out. Shut up.
Oh.
Yeah, you need some.
Yeah, you need some before I fucking brawl for all you.
Shoot.
So anyway, I'm trying to see who's in this ambulance. I can't see. I don't want to like get out and like peek through the ambulance window, you know?
Is your speculation fan or talent?
All the above.
Worst case scenario.
Because I know how hard the wrestlers are partying, and I know how hard the fans attempt to party, and sometimes the fans annoy the wrestlers by trying to fucking hang with them and be like part of the crew.
Right.
You know, there's like a fine line of like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, this is cool. Like, why the fuck are there fans here still? You know, so
And then there's the Kenny Wang line of wide open balconies at the America's Best Value Inn, so that is another very scary thought process.
There's balconies at this hotel. There's all sorts of ways for people to get injured and die.
And there's been plenty of alcohol passed around.
Yes. So
Allegedly.
I'm thinking, fuck, somebody's dead. I go to Bob Evans. I meet fucking Tim Donst. There is like, so also at Bob Evans, there's like a table of like several wrestlers, but like none of the like, so the people that are at breakfast are like LFC, or Joe Sposto,
Leonard F. Carson is dead, I believe, so.
Robles, Tracy Williams. So like none of the like people that you would assume could have fallen off a balcony late at night.
Right. All the people you would expect to see up and functioning.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Up and getting breakfast in the morning, you know? So I'm like, okay, this doesn't make me feel better. Then Tim Donst shows up and fucking he's explaining to me the night and he goes, nobody knows where Joey Janela is. His phone's not working. And I go, there's an ambulance. There was an ambulance when I drove by. He said, yeah, I know. I was in the lobby trying to see who they were wheeling out, but I could not see because they had the stretcher covered up like it was a dead body. So I was like, oh fuck. You know, and I get to the venue and I see more guys. I see like Colin Delaney's there. Colin Delaney, prime suspect for a guy that could have died jail at night 1.
Sure.
He's there. And I go, okay, this is good. You know, he's there. He's a man that may or may not have been arrested at previous jail at night 1s. So I go, okay, this is a good sign. Colin's here. And then more people start rolling in, you know, as Back to the Future stuff's starting to, you know, getting ready to start. And everyone's going, hey, have you heard from Janela? Have you heard from Janela? I go, no, I haven't. And then somebody goes, let me call him. straight to voicemail. His phone goes straight to voicemail. So he's missing at this point for the person. Somebody saw him last at like 4:00 in the morning. He went off into the hallway, into the abyss. So anyway, I think at this point Joey Janela maybe in the hospital. And I really don't know what to do because I'm fucking still drunk at this point. But so I go, well, let's get this fucking show started and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, on the co-assigned note of that, it was just, I remember passing Tracy Williams at the merchandise tables before the show started. He goes, yeah, man, don't know what happened to Joey. No one knows where he's at. His phone doesn't work. Hope he's there by call time.
We may have lost him.
And he wasn't in the hotel he was supposed to room with Tracy Williams. He was not in that hotel. He never made it to that hotel.
My last contact with Joey Janela was him eating a quesarito at the Taco Bell parking lot in lovely Brooklyn, Ohio. So at this point, no one knows where Joey Janela is at, Steve.
It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
3 o'clock. Thorne comes up to me and says, let's get the show started.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, Joey not scheduled to be on Back to the Future Cup.
Right, so I figured let's give him a couple hours. Maybe he's sleeping somewhere, or maybe a fan fucking took him to get food. Who knows? You know what I mean?
But it's worth noting the real point of concern here too is that
there was an ambulance.
Yes, there's an ambulance, and anybody that would really be contacted to find Joey or go get Joey, all a part of this show.
Right.
Everybody busy for the next several hours for the most part.
Well, I mean, we could have figured that part out. He didn't need to be there for a while, but so we get the show going, and we just say, fuck it, let's hope for the best.
So we do start the show, and for those who don't know, Back to the Future Cup, first one was last year, smashed right in between JLIT Night 1, Night 2.
Yes.
And this has become essentially a showcase for the AIW students and younger talent that.
There were.
This year was a little different.
This year was a little different. There were guys that you've seen other smaller feds before.
It's not necessarily for just the AIW students. Obviously, they're a big part of it, but it's just for like showcasing guys that are on their way up that might not necessarily make their way on
a normal AIW card.
All AIW shows, regular AIW shows, but guys that we don't have like a developmental or anything. You know what I mean? So it's like let's take this opportunity and put these guys on there and kind of introduce them and see how they do. And guys could go out there and they could totally bomb or not connect with the fans, and then you know what I mean. Okay, you guys, you're not going to work. On to the next one.
Right.
So we're kind of we've experimented several times with different events on the Saturday afternoon of JLIT weekend, and last year I think that this really stood out a little bit and kind of made it a little bit more special and gave the students kind of a place on the weekend, so to speak.
You would never know from the DVD sales on Smart Mark Video, but as John said, it last year for sure it gave someone like myself, someone like Brian Carson, someone like Dr. Dan, it gave us a spot on JLIT weekend that we didn't think we were going to have because those 24 spots are coveted and. It's hard to break through and get to one of those 24 spots.
It's a show full of a smaller tournament, and then we've got some additional matches that get thrown in there kind of to break it up. But well attended on this afternoon, I will say.
Very well attended.
Right, and I think it's kind of goes into, we were really pushing that weekend combo ticket and just, trying to make people understand, like, hey, like, good stuff is going to happen in the afternoon too. Like, let's make a weekend out of it.
Right.
And it went, I would say, 1,000,000 times better than last year's event.
100%.
Oh, sure.
Night and day.
The first match on that show, two names that were more recently familiar to AIW fans, between Marino Tenaglia and Colby Red, a couple of guys that we had on the Tequila Jack show prior to.
Colby Red is an AIW student. He's been training with us for several months. Marino Tenaglia, he trained at the Mega School, and he's started kind of, doubling up and training at both schools now. So we figured, hey, let's give these guys an opportunity on the show. Definitely a weird matchup that they don't really encounter. They don't work a lot of shows where
Yeah,
they're
don't
gonna
cross paths very often.
cross paths. So we figured, hey, let's see what happens here. Marino is a very underrated, small, kind of cruiserweight type of talent. And Colby Red has, I think he has a big future. He just has to figure out, what exactly he is and what he wants to be, sort of thing. I think he's still in that kind of learning curve process.
Yeah. The next match was one of the first to really impact JLIT Night 2 and how that card turned out. But this was Gary the King Baller and AJ Gray.
This would have probably one of my more favorite matches of the weekend. For those of you who kind of came out and saw AJ Gray for the first time, AJ Gray is kind of a tale of perseverance. AJ started riding up with either Colin Delaney or Sean Schultz on any given show that they were on, and there was never necessarily a spot for AJ. But AJ would always go up to John or Chandler before he got sick, and he would say, "Hey, what can I do to help, guys?" And he tended bar, he ran the concession stand, he helped tear the ring down.
He was like the bar back for Nick Sanka. He was getting
For
ice,
one whole year.
taking garbage out.
Interesting side story. Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham knew so little about AJ Gray that we were at WrestleMania weekend.
I did not know a little.
Stop. I'll bring you on when I want to bring you on, Dr. Dan. Okay? So Dr. Dan didn't really necessarily know AJ Gray besides, the AIW bartender, AJ Gray. So AJ Gray's in his wrestling gear, and Dr. Dan goes, "Oh man, you don't just bartend? You wrestle too?"
Which was a clear joke. I knew he wrestled, or else why would he be there for all those shows? I was just trying to rib him a little bit. That's all I was trying to do.
Oh yeah, well, he sure got the last laugh on you on that one.
Notarib.com.
Yeah, notarib.com. Our
AJ
good friend Bruce Pritchard.
AJ opened a lot of eyes in that match.
He fucking opened my eyes. I'll tell you that.
So back AJ Gray, I've gotten a chance to see AJ do some stuff. I've done a lot of work in the South.
I want to point out, I never saw AJ Gray wrestle 1 second in my life.
I remember that I
Until
told
that
Thorne.
day.
I said I gave him a spot just based on him being a good dude and coming up and hanging out and not being annoying and not saying, "Hey, can you book me?" He was just there. He was just there, and was just very respectful, nice guy. Mm-hmm. So I said, "You know what? We got a lot of kind of spots to play with this year for the Back to the Future Cup. I'm gonna give one to AJ Gray. He could have been the worst fucking wrestler in the world. I didn't know any better."
Yep. And for once again, I'd gotten the chance to watch AJ wrestle a few times. I'd also known AJ's background. AJ was a Division I AA linebacker at Austin P University. So to say he's a freak athlete would be a little bit of an understatement. So needless to say, Steve, he opened up a lot of eyes against Gary the King Baller.
So I'm watching this match with Adam Cole, and he goes, "Oh, who's this fucking guy?" I go, "Gary's one of our students," and I go, "And this guy, he was basically just rolling up and being a bartender for a while, so I gave him a spot." So then they have this fucking match, and I don't know, it's in the first couple minutes, and Colin Delaney stands up, who's in the crowd just watching, and he is very familiar with AJ Gray because he was living in the South for a while, and Colin Delaney starts running around as Gary the King Baller is out on the floor, and AJ Gray is looking at the top rope, and Colin Delaney starts jumping around and running and just starts going, "Do something crazy. Do something crazy. Do something crazy." And I go, "What the fuck is going on?" And AJ Gray is a big guy. He's a thick dude.
Yeah.
And Gary the King Baller, not a big guy. Gary the King Baller is on the floor.
Ballin'.
He spent a little more time in the gym.
And AJ Gray goes to the top rope. And I go, "What the fuck is this guy going to do? There's no way Gary is going to catch this guy." And then AJ Gray goes and does this fucking moonsault and just eats shit on the fucking concrete. Just annihilates Gary and just splat. Gary is just splat.
Flat.
One of the most sickening thuds you will ever hear is AJ Gray's thighs.
And then
hitting the
AJ
ground.
Gray just kills himself on the fucking floor, and the crowd just erupts. And then fucking AJ Gray gets up, and he's fucking pumped.
He just pops up. Yeah.
And
Nothing ever happened.
And Adam Cole looks at me and goes, "This fucking bartender you got is crazy, dude."
And then as the match progresses, I've known AJ Gray, like I said, so I know how athletic he is. But I was not ready for him to bust out a Phoenix Splash at one point.
And miss and eat shit again.
I mean,
So right at this point, where AJ Gray eats shit on a Phoenix Splash, and I assume has broken
Every bone.
at least his face. I look to my right, and I see a young Ryan Kaplan walking in the door, who just decided he wasn't going to tell anybody yet again that he was just in town and popping by. And I look at Ryan Kaplan, who's loading himself up on a free hot dog and a pizza,
Matt Wadsworth style.
and I go, I see this fucking gentleman in the ring who's just killed himself multiple times very dangerously and recklessly.
yeah.
And I look at Kaplan tossing some fucking condiments on his hot dog that he just stole and doesn't realize I witnessed. And I go, you know what? The boys are going to be pissed. But I think I'm adding a match tonight to the JLIT Night 2.
I believe I came up to you and I go, Thorne, if you don't add Kaplan versus AJ Gray, I'm going to be very upset.
And I had already made the decision.
I was very happy. But the best thing about this, though, is I think I asked Kaplan, hey, Kaplan, do you have your gear? Not thinking like, oh, hey, if Kaplan has a shirt and some athletic shorts,
He's good.
good.
Yeah.
So, much to the dismay of all the guys wrestling on JLIT Night 2, I added a fucking 10th match because I just felt like, how can you not? You know what I mean? And
Give the people what they want.
I had several people complain to me, like, hey, the crowd's going to be dead for the main. Nobody's going to care about this match or that match. And my response was simply this. The guys that are in the main are already fucking known stars. That's why they're going to be in the main. Said, these fucking two guys right here, nobody knows who the fuck they are. And they're about to become stars tonight if they do what I am imagining they're going to do in my head. So I said, I'm sorry to all you guys that are going to be pissed about a dead crowd. What are you doing?
Stop. Stop.
Trying to keep himself from hiccuping, I think.
So I said, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we're adding this match tonight. And Kaplan was very pissed because he was fucking woofing down hot dogs at the time.
More on that match later. As we continue down with the Back to the Future Cup. Then we have PB Smooth taking on Philly Collins. Philly, another one of those guys. Philly and Marino, of course, tag team, the Philly Marino experience. If you're familiar with AIW, you've seen them maybe once or twice at this point. Well, by the time this comes out, you maybe even seen them a third or fourth time with Night of the Creeps. But that was another one. And then Jonathan Wolf, which was a young guy that we had mentioned previously we'd be throwing on the match, and he makes his way into the Back to the Future Cup.
Philly Collins, PB Smooth,
Oh, I was talking about Jonathan Wolf.
Jonathan Wolf.
Jonathan Wolf, I guess I'll toss that one out there.
Great guy.
I first met
Great kid.
Jonathan Wolf when he was a spry young 17-year-old in Indiana. I had a booking in Indiana, and it was actually...
What is he, 17 and a half now?
He's 18 now.
He's 18.
He's officially 18,
got
so...
an
It's cool.
No worries, no worries. Jonathan Wolf, son of Chairman Joey Owens of IWA Mid-South fame, has been wrestling since he was 16. I met him, and probably the best thing that happened for young Jonathan Wolf was burgeoning a friendship WrestleMania weekend with Joshua Bishop, because Joshua Bishop spent a lot of time with John Thorne WrestleMania weekend, and he would not stop bringing up Jonathan Wolf to Thorne. So it was almost forced to book him just so Joshua Bishop would shut up.
I never fucking seen a Jonathan Wolf match in my life.
Well, that was the second time we saw him in AIW, and that match he took on Malcolm Monroe III.
Malcolm Monroe III is fucking
And
awesome.
that was the second
Yes.
time we saw him at AIW. You know, they made their presence known kind of, as the Tequila Jack show right before that. So then,
Well, I mean, let's fucking talk about that fucking match, because that match is fucking awesome.
with those two,
Just doing just insane things. The
So many
whole
things.
Time.
a lot of crazy in a different way.
Malcolm Monroe III, MM3 fucking third generation fucking indie wrestler.
Right.
I don't want to say third generation wrestler. You know, that could be very misinterpreted. Third generation indie wrestler, Malcolm Monroe III. Very underrated. Fucking, he's a guy that does a fucking lot of innovative and cool shit. And him and Jonathan Wolf know each other, so they fucking went and did all sorts of dangerous shit. They did like a fucking on the run reverse Rana. I've never fucking seen anything like that. Like a lot of people, like Dom kind of noted earlier, a lot of people sleep on the Back to the Future show. Like last year, it sold awful on Smart Mark Video. This show is really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like
top to bottom, yeah.
really, really fucking good. Especially if you want to see some guys that are going to be the guys in a few years. Like obviously they're not going to be the guys right now, but these are guys that are going to be fucking really good in a few years. And this match I think is definitely kind of like, you know, the fucking the showcase of fucking what the kind of future is going to hold.
Yeah, and that's a conversation me and you have had, Thorne, of like where people, they just want what's next now. They don't want to take the time to watch the development.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you go back now and think in a couple years when a guy like MM3 or a guy like Jonathan Wolf, you know, is blowing it up real big on the scene, you're going to want to think like, oh man, crazy to think they did this in AIW and none of us cared.
Right.
Well, and if you follow somebody on social media, you're friends with them on social media, and you know you saw tweets or Facebook posts that they went to the JLIT weekend and they attended the Back to the Future Cup. Look, you don't have to take our word for it because we're involved if you don't want to, but ask them. And I think anybody that was in attendance at the Back to the Future Cup will tell you they're blown away by this show.
No doubt, no doubt. I thought far and away it's one of the better AIW shows of the year. I mean, from a top to bottom card.
What's up, everybody? This is Alex, Worldwide Killer, reporting to you live from my podcast timeout, live from the beach. That's right, I've been out here as penance for my recent performance on the podcast. I just did 500 Hindus in the hot, hot sun, and we got a hot, hot new item, an original from the Thrift Store Jabber. That's right, coming out with his first design. It is Luna Vachon in the style of Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics, and designed by none other than She'll design a good shirt, and boy, did she ever. This thing's going to be going up for $24.99 at thriftstoreJobber.bigcartel.com. These bad boys will be shipping, these bad girls, will be shipping sometime in the neighborhood of mid-July. Order now, order hard. Order worldwide. That's at Thrift Store Jobber.
Well, so the next match, as we roll into it, this is where things got interesting
Thanks for
in
the
the
vote of
Back to the
confidence.
Future Cup. Next match, we roll into the Back to the Future Cup, and it's Super Crazy versus Little Guido.
The match I set up at the JLIT Night 1
Yes.
after party.
And they roll
Shut
around
up.
for a bit.
I'm about to say, shut up. Because let's not mention the taintedness of this match, Steve.
All right.
And we're not even talking about the super tainted part. And all in the end, I just blame Weird Body Evan Adams for causing those Jimmy Rave family problems, because this was originally supposed to be Jimmy Rave and Little Guido, but
It was. It was.
Fucking.
A third person interjects himself into the match. That happened.
Steve Payne somehow got him.
Steve Payne, from what I have heard, this is from the locker room banter, was that Guido, let's tie it back to last episode, Guido, being the most self-conscious wrestler of all time, was walking around going, I just can't do it. Everybody's gonna expect so much out of me and
He was
crazy.
nervous,
They're gonna
yeah.
expect us to do ECW, and I can't do that anymore. I got a kid. I'm 50. So of course Steve Payne took it upon himself to interject and say,
Because, and I will add, when I brought up the idea of the match,
Uh-huh.
Steve Payne was within earshot and apparently looking at me, and he thought that I meant Super Crazy and Steve Payne have a match on the afternoon.
Oh.
Which I don't know why he would have thought that,
But he did.
but he did. So I I think he started kind of, dabbling his, hey, you guys want me in there?
Sure.
In which I told Guido, I really don't want him in there. But Guido was very adamant that he could not hang.
This is probably leads to one of my favorite moments of the show where Steve Payne comes out. Steve Payne, for those of you guys who are AIW fans, big baby face. People love Steve Payne. Steve Payne then proceeds to come out and cut a heel promo about how no one wants to watch these two old guys wrestle, to which Cole Cabana goes, I do. And then I know that Tracy Williams and Eddie Kingston are on commentary, and they go, we want to see this match as a singles match. Steve Payne then interjects himself.
And they had already been rolling around for a couple minutes. There.
Yeah.
And people were all about,
yeah,
this
That's
ECW.
The thing. Guido can be as self-conscious as he wants, but he could have just done a couple arm drags, a Sicilian slice, and that crowd would have been very
They were
happy.
loving it.
Steve Payne he's no Tajiri, that's for sure. I'll say that much.
You heard it.
You heard it there from Weird Body. Not sure what just happened there.
Okay.
I think worldwide.
Baby
All right.
fell.
The alcohol is officially affecting worldwide.
Roll, brother. 3 quarters. I was lucha talk.
So this match goes on. It's still an entertaining match with Steve Payne in there. He's a good bass guy, so they're getting to do some certain things, and then it comes time, and Super Crazy is going to be doing his moonsaults.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Multiple moonsaults.
Multiple moonsaults.
And
We got to number 1.
we got halfway through number 1, and I would say Thorne will probably agree this is one of the scariest moments of his promoting career.
We've never, ever, ever had a problem with our ring, ever.
Right.
No matter how much people hate it, that ring has been tried and trusted.
People
for
hate
us.
it because it's fucking,
It's stiff.
it's put together like fucking tight.
Exactly. So Super Crazy goes off the bottom rope to do the first moonsault. Springs and a snap is heard throughout the building. That would be the rope breaking.
And it's
Bottom
not
rope
like,
just collapses.
and it's not like a turnbuckle breaks. The fucking actual steel cable fucking
Well,
just splinters
In all hindsight,
throughout the rope.
in all hindsight, I'm worried to death because I'm going to tighten the ropes in the morning for the movie and everything else. So I think, dear God, I probably just killed Super Crazy. Luckily, as Thorne said, though, we noticed that the literal steel cable snapped.
Yeah.
And Super Crazy mid-moonsault ends up pulling the Hayabusa, as anybody in the wrestling business would know. And I'm pretty sure we all think Super Crazy is either dead or has broken his neck.
Yep.
Oh, for sure. I mean, in that moment, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I go over to check on him, but then there's some movement, and I don't remember who the referee was.
Also,
And then next thing we know, literally next thing we know, Super Crazy is up on the other turnbuckle.
He's up.
And he is doing 2 more moonsaults, finishes, and collapses because likely he broke his neck. But he walked around after, remedied, and he seemed fine.
Pedro, who has like some medical training, goes and checks on him, and runs some tests on his neck and does some certain things, and he determines that his neck is not broken, but it's severely sprained. It swells up instantly.
Oh, definitely. Probably like
I'm
the steroid
terrified. I'm
sores.
terrified to go near Super Crazy for a good 25 minutes.
Well, I go down later on and ask and check on him. And to Super Crazy's credit, I mean, this is such a dear of a man. Like, I'll literally go, oh, are you okay? I'm so sorry. And he's, no, I'm sorry. And I'm like, what the hell are you sorry for, man? Fucking rope just broke. And he's like, no, I do that all the time. It never happened. And then he just pats his belly and he just goes, oh, I'm a little heavier now, though. Yeah, that's what it was.
So that's the story of that match. But Steve, I'm sorry to tell you, you actually skipped a match.
Yeah, because this plays into the rope break story.
That match actually all is in this room right now. So I'm
my
going to check
goodness.
out. I'm going to check
Steve,
out.
about
and I'm
the
going to
order
hand
of
this
that.
microphone to young Evan Adams.
Because I'm looking at a recap, and they had you guys out of order.
Well, no, we were right
Sure,
before
blame the recap,
the
brother.
Super Crazy
Show it to you, brother.
little Guido match that
You
was
were.
And that's what we did. We had
it
our
was-
tag match right
Yeah, it was
before
right
that.
afterwards. I was
favorite tag
salty
team,
about that.
the Weird World,
Yeah.
The Weird
taking
World.
on Dedication personified.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And,
Can't wait it.
that's world-
It was definitely one of the matches on the show.
It was?
I will agree.
It was.
it was.
Definitely one of the better matches because the Weird World won, so that's always
I
good.
mean,
I
that's
don't recall
debatable,
that at
but
Yeah.
it was,
One,
a
two,
good,
three,
a
brother.
good
One,
learning
two,
experience on
What the hell are you talking about?
exactly what to do at a show like that. It goes with all the tournament matches. We kind of saw some stuff that worked with that crowd and some things that didn't, and definitely a learning experience on that match.
Yeah, for sure.
We knew what we were doing, though.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I mean, I took you
Some
guys
things just didn't work.
the
Well,
limit,
I mean-
broke your guys' limit. You guys got pinned, and
Weird Body
you know,
got a-
next match we had was for the tag title. So maybe if you
how'd that
you
work
could have. We got screwed. We got screwed because of
Worldwide
your boy
learned an awesome
Potato.
new move that now he uses
He's
all
not
the
my
time.
boy. Hey, don't put it.
Here's the thing. Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to lay it all down on the table.
Okay.
You blew me up, you dirty, no good, demented, rapscallion son of a bitch. But that inspired me to get on that cardio train.
Well, that's what I do. I inspire.
Yeah, you fucking inspired me, you asshole. Also, you inspired me to incorporate the nasty German.
Is that what you're going to call it?
The ugly Deutsch into my repertoire. And I can never fucking love you enough for that. But also, I'll never stop hating you until there's one Adam in my life. Because you are just trash, you're shit, and I hate you, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, more than anything on this earth.
Man, I didn't like how you put him over, man. Like DCR is a cancer. Like for sure. I mean, let's look at our track history, man. Where's Joshua Singh? Where's Joshua Singh? That's my question.
We Blu-rays.
Say he's collecting Blue's. Don't you
Yeah,
follow him on
dude,
Twitter?
you killed his spirit.
I didn't
you
kill-
dampened his fire. I worry. I feel like Swoggle's probably gonna retire. Carson's probably gonna retire, brother.
I'm happy
No plans on that. No
Carson
plans.
is not retiring as of right now. He's right here.
He's right here. He's
Right for
no plans
right
to retire.
now, man. For
Yeah.
right now.
I'm gonna walk out.
Right
I'm gonna
here
walk
for
out
right
this
now,
door and just
but
like, oh
I'm
fuck
happy to
wrestling.
have
I'm
him
done. You
here.
know, the hell with the last like 4 years of my life. You
Yeah,
know, I'm just gonna
brother.
go on to something else. I'm gonna be an
Hey,
accountant.
man, it's happened before. You like movies enough.
Weird Body, brother. We beat these guys on 2.5 hours of sleep.
That's true.
I would love to see us face these two men, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham and goddamn Brian Excellence personified fucking Carson. I would like to see the two of these
Best way someone's ever pronounced.
at 4 to 6 hours of sleep and see how bad we just myrtleize these two J Browns.
Myrtleize?
We don't need to. Like, we already beat him. I mean, I don't know
Okay.
what you're trying to prove. Like, beat him again? Come on,
time,
that's
another
beating a
place.
dead horse, and we got two of the fucking.
And we're moving on.
Got Seabass.
And moving on. Learning
I
experience.
was pleased with the match.
Match was
I had
okay.
fun in the match. It was a learning experience, and congratulations, you motherfuckers.
Yes, so
Well, so
now
glad
we gotta
you
do
got that one going in there. Doc.
Here we go.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying. I'm being equal opportunist here.
So,
These young men were on the card.
rope
No,
breaks.
it was good. It was
I
good.
wanted to give homage to my opponents.
Maybe-
That's all.
The rope breaks. We're freaking out.
Maybe he was trying to skip that match in the breakdown on purpose.
So, I got some experience here. So the rope breaks.
Carson and I,
The rope breaks.
in full gear,
Everybody freaking out. Yes.
jump
you
in
guys
my
are-
car,
Yep.
drive to Old School Iron, in full gear, and pick up
Yeah.
the.
I'm still in my boots and everything because like we just got down the ring. I get outside to get some air, and I'm drinking a beer with AJ Gray, and he's talking about his match and everything and blah blah whatever. Here comes Dan, still in his singlet and everything and whatever, and his face is beat red. And he looks at me. We gotta go to Old School Iron. I'm like, what the fuck for? And he's like, the rope just broke. I'm like, what rope? He's like, the fucking ring. So we run inside. The match is still going on. I can't see because like there's still a lot of people, and I see one rope, two rope, and I guess I forgot there's 3 fucking ropes on the ring, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck are you talking about?
Easy with the
Nothing
F-bombs,
broke.
man.
Like, nothing broke.
Chill.
I was pissed at this point. I'm recalling. I'm reliving my emotions in this now. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, okay. There's no bottom rope. All right. So yeah. So what? It took us like an hour to go to Old School Iron and come back.
The longest drive of all time. Got there, got the rope.
Because 71 was closed going there, so we had to take the back roads the entire way. We get the old school iron. I at least threw on like a hoodie and sweatpants. This guy goes in full gimmick and everything, just walking through the gym in his DCR pink and black and green singlet and wrestling shoes. And we walk out with ropes, and like everyone's just kind of looking at us, going, "What the hell is this?" And I'm just like doing the old head nod to everyone that's doing shrugs and curls and everything. We get back and, well, what? No, don't worry about it. Anyway,
So that was that. This then leads into, we've got a broken rope. And now, the very next match, if you could plan out a worst case scenario, I mean, I guess there could be worse ones, but this is certainly up there. There are 5 young gentlemen and Kurt Hurst about to...
Are you insinuating that Kurt Hurst is not a young gentleman there, Steve?
They're about to make their pretty much debut.
What I
That's
mean,
what
what
he's
I
going
meant
for.
to say is there are 5 young gentlemen about to make their debut.
It was
and
pretty much
Kurt
Kurt
Hurst.
Hurst's debut.
Well, what about Trey? Trey debuted in the last
Ray
match.
Taylor debut. Yeah, that's fair.
Their Mount Carmel
Enough
debut.
with the
Kaplan.
semantics. Let's get to the
Point
point.
is, this is their big debut, so to speak, biggest crowd they've been in front of, and they've got 2 ropes.
I do remember going back.
You're their trainer, Dom. What the hell are you thinking?
Allegedly, I'm their trainer. So I go back and all of them are all smiles and hugging me. I'm like, guys, there's only 2 ropes. Love you guys. Best of luck. Any spots you guys might have had planned with the bottom rope, throw them out.
Yeah, and I see them in the gorilla position, and I see that there's 2 ropes, and I just walked out of the building because I go, these fucking kids are dead. And like,
Yes.
this is, like, I was like, I cannot watch.
John Thorne pulled a pin out of a grenade, tossed it to me, and said, "Here you go, Dom. Get these kids through."
I said, they're dead. I said, this is it. Like, it's over.
I went back.
I said they're dead before they fucking go out. Because, like, this is the worst case scenario.
I will tell you this. In talking to Joshua Bishop after the fact, and we're recalling this, he said that he's standing back there in a gorilla, and he's looking over at you because you're to the right thinking, are we still going to do this? What do we do? And he's like, I'm pretty sure intentionally John Thorne was not making eye contact with us just
yes.
to see how we would react.
Like I said, it was at that moment that I knew that I had to look at the ropes, and then I had to go back and say, guys, you're going with 2 ropes. Hugged every single one of them. Said, best of luck, guys. Traxler, hit their music.
And it did.
Yeah, and like people are like, oh, just just wait. They're getting another rope, and I was like, dude, that's gonna be an hour.
Nope.
We have to go. You know what I mean?
We had a Colt Cabana podcast planned. There was way too much. There was no time to wait for the rope.
Oh, yeah, we had absolutely no time to wait for the
So
rope.
there was no choice but to go in and say, guys, sorry about this really crappy predicament, but it's gonna be a hell of a story.
What did you guys have? I mean, all of you. Dan, you go to training, obviously, with these guys. You work with them a little bit. All 3 of you, what are your expectations going into this? Even Carson who works with them.
I mean, overall, the match, the premise of a 6-way scramble is essentially a car crash. So I was expecting these guys to have a car crash. But each of the students is different in their own way. You got a guy like Anthony and a guy like Trey, 2 extremely athletic individuals who are going to kind of be your flippy bases of the match. They're going to do your real flash. Then you've got 3 bigger guys in the match in terms of Parker Pierce, Joshua Bishop, and Big Twan Tucker. All these young men are larger guys, probably going to have a more hard-hitting style. Definitely was surprised at Josh Bishop's fire. He'd been a kid who'd been very quiet at training, and I was honestly worried about if he'd have that fire coming out for the crowd, but I would assume it was those Bishop 316 signs in the crowd that fired him up. And then, of course, you have Kurt Hurst, who, legend of the podcast, and in John Thorne's opinion, the worst professional wrestler of all time.
Kurt Hurst?
Kurt Hurst.
No, he's not that's his gimmick. Is he's the worst professional wrestler of all time?
I know. And I'll tell you
coming
what,
from the crowd.
He came right from the crowd, Thorne.
Yeah, but he fucked it up because he didn't exit through the crowd.
He didn't. You were right. Yeah. But no, I actually had high hopes, even with the broken rope. I was a little more optimistic than Thorne because I knew how hard these guys have been working. Most of them had been training for almost a year, getting ready for this debut.
yeah, and
Sadly, we missed it. Me and Carson.
yeah, I mean, I was upset that I missed it, but again, we've been working with these guys for. I mean, Trey had been training for like a year at that point. Josh had been training for like 9 months, 10 months.
They were all none of them had been training less than 10 months.
I thought Anthony started training in like
No, Anthony came about 2 weeks
September,
after Josh.
yeah, I think he was like September.
It was anywhere between 8 to 10 months. All of them have been training, and the trade was over.
Yeah,
a year.
and like we see these guys, you know, twice a week. They're with us at shows. They're doing ring crew and everything. We know.
Some of them are doing ring crew.
Yes, you're right. Allegedly. Some
There's
of them
no
do
legend
ring
on that one. I'm not throwing the legend on that one.
So anyway, so like we know what these guys are capable of doing, and we know like they can have a great training match all they want, but now not only are we throwing them out there in front of a live crowd during JLIT weekend, now all they have is 2 ropes to work with. So when I made my debut in our match, the worst thing that happened was young Ryan Fairley unfortunately blew his shoulder out, and that was towards the end of the match. You know, these guys now from the start of it are dealing with 2 ropes. So, you know, you're thinking, well, and then, Dan, we didn't know that they had the match, but, I mean, the fact that they powered through it and got through the match, and, like, it didn't affect them doing anything that they, you know, were planning on doing.
It was awesome.
It was a testament to them, and then I think also a testament of all of us, and, like, what we have put them through at training so far.
To be fair, unless you're Dominic Guarini, I don't know if you really need the bottom rope.
I mean, in hindsight, do I really need the bottom rope?
For that fucking step up Superman punch. That little rip, brother, little rip.
Are you not hopping that shit from like straight from the second rope, brother?
Were you guys
do it, but it makes no
Thorne and
sense.
Dom, were you guys happy with the way the crowd reacted to this match?
So I left the building for a while because I felt so bad that their careers are over before it started.
Well, and then I was on the commentary. It was me and Alex was on the commentary because in Johnny and Candace's absence, which they are usually back around once a month, me and Alex have kind of taken the reins along with help from Dr. Yan and Brian. So we decided we wanted to do the commentary since we thought, you know, we knew the kids the best.
Right.
And I always remember Johnny could never watch any of our matches because he said he was so scared.
He would pace in the
He'd pace
stairwell.
in the stairwell.
Mount Carmel.
Oh, yeah, I remember
And in
seeing
all
him
hindsight,
do
I
that
almost
scramble.
wish that I was able to pace in the stairwell during that match and just listen to the crowd reactions because, yeah, I was very excited with the crowd reactions. This is awesome chants, AIW chants, all that stuff was great. I really think that the kids went out and overperformed.
So I walk up about halfway through, and like I walk up and they are just fucking hitting everything. Like I walk up and Trey Lamar does this. The first thing I see is Trey Lamar doing this fucking crazy, like fucking Fosbury flop fucking dive, and then it's just like boom, 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 and they're fucking hitting all this stuff, and the place is losing their minds, and it's like. You know, they had a lot of people there to see them, but like it was the whole crowd.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
yeah. just their people that were losing it.
Yeah,
it
let's
was
be fair.
everybody.
The AIW regulars that are there every show
We're going nuts.
They were going nuts. They were loving
nuts.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, you know, like, and I'll never forget, like, so right around that time, you know, like right in this time frame when I come up, there's a spot where fucking. It was a coast-to-coast spot where fucking Parker Pierce is in the corner, but there's no bottom rope. And fucking Trey Lamar fucking smokes him with the coast-to-coast, and he has nowhere to go but fucking straight to the fucking floor because there's no bottom rope. I was like, that kind of made it fucking cooler because it looked very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, all those kids went out there and over-delivered. And in the end, of course, the biggest white meat babyface now to ever come out of the IW school, young Chase Oliver.
From Cocoa Beach.
Cocoa Beach,
Florida.
Cocoa Beach, Florida. Chase Oliver, busting out that shooting star press, gets the W. And overall, like I had said, I couldn't be prouder of those kids coming out and doing very well for themselves.
And we'll get to that later on, but even that match then led to
The final.
a fun little.
We had the final we had the final for the Back to the Future Cup.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that was based on all
The
sorts of
student scramble, right? So yes, but then following that match, we do have the final for the Back to the Future Cup. It is PB Smooth, Gary the King Baller, and
Jonathan Wolf,
And
Marino Tenaglia. 4-way there. Another one, complete chaos.
These guys also got to work with fucking no bottom rope.
No bottom rope once again. And I don't think there's anybody there that necessarily has to do anything with a bottom rope.
It just is.
Which was
It just throws you off.
It does. And figuring out what you're going to do with the match, I'm sure there's all sorts of adjustments you need to make. To your point with the student match, if you're sitting in the bottom corner, there's no bottom rope to lean on or anything. plenty of adjustments. They power through. They have a great, entertaining match. And
The return of Frankie Flynn.
the return of Frankie Flynn. People hadn't seen him for a little bit.
Well, he was on the Tequila Jack show, but
Yeah.
it's kind of a, like those Tequila Jack shows are kind of like, I don't want to say they're house shows because that kind of gives it like a certain like fucking like stigma or whatever, but like
They are the AIW Black and Gold brand, essentially. Those Tequila Jack shows.
yeah, they're just
They are the NXT of kind of
Certain
AIW.
people, not everybody just wants to make that trek all the way out to Menard on the Lake, is what it comes down to.
It's smaller venue.
and
more
we tried different
intimate.
things. But so we put Flynn on that, because he had been hurt, just to see where he was at and how he performed.
2016 Back to the Future Cup winner.
So, he gets through it or whatever, but not still a little rusty, I guess, because he hadn't been wrestling for a while. But anyway, Frankie Flynn makes his official big return to the main roster of sorts at Back to the Future Cup. A different attitude, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
He's very upset about PB Smooth taking his spot on the roster.
Hello, Mr. Whiskers.
And Frankie Flynn took this so seriously that as soon as his promo was done,
After he bashes PB in the leg.
he has a hairstylist waiting for him in the locker room,
She is ready to go.
plugged in. All of a sudden, I don't know who this woman is, right? I don't know who this woman is, but I go down to the locker room and there's just a woman there. I go, "Who are you? Why are you here?" She goes, I'm with Frankie Flynn. I said, well, what the fuck does that mean? Frankie Flynn comes down, points at this woman, brings her further into the locker room. What the fuck is going on? This lady pulls out all this equipment, plugs in, puts a fucking smock on fucking Frankie Flynn and starts cutting his hair right in the locker room. So what the fuck are you doing, man? He goes, it's a new era. I need a new look. And he gets a haircut right then and there. So he looks completely different for his match later on that night at JLIT Night 2.
He was not the only one that partook in the haircut.
Yeah, because Tom Lawler goes, hey, can I get in on that? I got this fucking stupid Dan Severn dye job.
Yeah, he did not like it.
He gets, and then people just start fucking getting haircuts. Steve Guy got a haircut.
I got a haircut after Tom Lawler.
Everyone, Frankie Flynn paid the girl for the hour, so fuck.
During Cole Cabana podcast time was also haircut time. Tom Lawler got the haircut, trimmed the mustache. He was ready to go for night 2. Different look.
And at this time, Joey Janela arrives.
Thank goodness.
And I go,
Finally.
dude, everyone thought you were dead.
You also go, dude, did you jack up my room? Because that was the other rumor, was that Janela just trashed your room. You were thinking...
No, actually, I didn't say that. You said that as soon as you
I
walked to
said
the
that
door.
Because I heard it from another source.
And he came up to me and said, I didn't ruin your room. He says, Dom's yelling at me.
I was told by another source that Joey Janela...
Yeah, but he said
ran
you
that-
yelled at him as soon as he walked to the door.
Allegedly, I go, Joey, did you jack up Thorne's room? And he goes, no, I didn't. I said, okay.
So I go, where you been, man? He said, I woke up and the clock in the room said 1:44. So I went back to bed. Then I woke up and the clock of the room said 1:44. So I called down to the front desk. I said, what time is it? And they said, it's 6 p.m. So I don't know if he took a taxi or how the fuck he got there, but he got there. So Joey Janela was found.
Thank goodness. So the mystery of the daytime is resolved. And then we finally are able to roll into the actual JLIT Night 2.
Which is going to have to be another episode.
And that, folks, you're going to have to wait to hear next week. So that was the day 2. And we will tell you more about JLIT Night 2 and the after party on next week's episode of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. On behalf, once again, of Brian Carson, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, Weird Body Evan Adams, Alex Worldwide Keller, Dominic Carini, and John Thorne, my name is Steve Guy. We'll talk to you guys next week, and we will end the saga of JLIT Weekend.